wife is set with me when I was like arranging the videos to upload them. But every single one starts with okay or alright. Okay, alright. Whatever, okay. Okay. There we go. Likutei Moharan. Likutei Moharan. Derech Hafalev. So, after we've explained that when a person sanctifies the 7 candles of the candelabra, he's zocheh to Shefa Eloki, a divine bounty that enters his brain. Mimele, the flame of his heart goes up automatically, he doesn't have to work on it. He's enthusiastic about serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu at all time. And he gets new diburim, when he goes to make his Vedus, he's going to talk to Hashem, he has words to say. Then we explain, these new diburim are Ruach HaKodesh, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, these are diburim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you to talk to him. Now, and we also said that through the mitzvah of Sukkah, you're also zocheh to this Shefa Eloki. This Shefa Eloki, this divine bounty, divine plenty, and it comes from a spiritual bechina, which is called Or Hapanim, the light of the face. And this is light of the face is also b'chinas kiddushin and chuppah, and the 7 candles are the 7 days of Sheva brachas that come afterwards. Because during the chuppah, you get the makifin, Chas and Kala gets the makifin, which is the new seichel on how to be a couple. They know until not just how to be single. Now they get new idea how to become a new seichel, how to become a couple. That seichel has to come in. The makifin, which is the Or Hapanim, which is the Shefa Eloki, is brought in only through the Shevas Haneres, by the sanctification of Shevas Haneres, or a parallel aspect thereof. So you have the 7 candles, the ears, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and you sanctify them. And you have a parallel manifestation to it in the Sheva brachas. It's the same thing, Laleinu Shivas and Avelis, that when somebody passes away, then the family sits Shiva, they sit for 7 days, and that connects the neshama again to Or Hapanim. To when the person is alive, the askas with the Shivas Haneres brings the Or Hapanim to him. When a person leaves this world, that aspect of 7, Shevas Haneres elevates his neshama to Or Hapanim. Now, the Rebbe introduces a new aspect to this thing. What happens if a person passes away and there are no children there? There are no children to sit Sheva on him. Okay, so there's nobody to bring in, the Sechel Hapanim, the Nifter, the Nifter was bringing down. This is being rectified with the mysterious concept of Yibum and Chalitza. This is a time of Roik Shel Chalitza. This is the reason behind the spit which is used during the process of Chalitza. Anybody who dies without children, the mitzvah is for his brother to marry off his brother's wife. And the firstborn, from that marriage is called after the dead brother. This is called Yibum. The special dinim about that particular type of marriage, that unlike other kind of marriages, over here the only thing that actually enacts the marriage, and the only thing that is needed, is just for the couple to come together, for them to live together, to consummate the marriage. The consummation of this automatically makes her his wife. Now, Chazal, the Rabbanon came up with different kind of takonas, to be Mesaderes. The son is called Maimar, which is like a pseudo kiddushin, a kind of pseudo kiddushin that comes in to quote unquote give a semblance of normalcy to this kind of kiddushin. So Chazal said that Midirabban, there's an inyan of what they call the Yabam, the brother, the deceased, does a kind of kiddushin kaviyachol, which semi helps. I mean, she's not his wife yet; it has to be consummated. But nevertheless, if there are few brothers, when one makes a member, the other brothers are not allowed to make yibum. Whatever it is, we're not going to get into all the dinim of the yibum. Now, what happens if that brother doesn't want to make yibum? Doesn't want to make him. She doesn't want to make him. Whatever it is, they can't stand one another. They hate one another. Whatever. So there is a different solution, which is called chalitza. It means getting out of it, getting out of that of the need to make yibum. During the process of chalitza, the yabam and the yavama, which is the brother and the widow, they go to Beis Din. The yavama says, my yavam didn't want to be miyabim me, didn't want to marry me. So there's a special kind of shoe that she takes off, and she's supposed to spit on the ground before him. That's part of the process of the yibum. Now, this is unusual, to say the least. There are huge secrets and mysteries around this particular ceremony of chalitza. And the Rebbe says that this is that tam shel roshel chalitza. This is the reason for that spitting that needs to take place during the chalitza. Shenema v'yoko b'fanav. She spit before him, but the word that is used is b'fanav is kivyochel, she spit in his face, not in his physical face, but where he is facing before him, on the ground. V'yoko b'fanav, to say why is the word b'fanav used after the word in his face? That particular deceased person, he left this world without leaving children, and he didn't leave blessings after him. Every person that have children, those children keep on bringing down the or upon him that particular person was already doing. He was doing. That's why it is so important that the person should have children. The children should do to Torah. And what they will do with their Ma'asim Tovim, they will complete the or upon him that he is no longer able to complete because he passed away. And this also acts to elevate the neshama of the deceased to the Orapan. And his brother does not want to to rebuild the name of the deceased brother. And he doesn't want to marry, he doesn't want to consummate this. בשביל זה ויוקו בפונוב, she has to spit בפונוב. Why the words בפונוב? כי אין רוצה להמשיך נשמס המס באוילום שיוכל לסכן אור upon him. Because he refuses to rectify the neshama of the deceased so that the or upon him aspect of the deceased can be rectified. So she's speaking בפונוב, in the ponim, in this union of Ruach HaKodesh. Because by the act of Yibum, that they're giving birth to a son, within the son gets the neshama of the deceased. And he continues to bring down the sechel upon him in the world. And with this, he rectifies the sechel upon him that was lessened with the death of his mother's original husband. So that's why she spits in his face to say that in the fact that he didn't want, that he refused to be miyabam her, he has damaged in the pana, in the supernal face. That's the source of Ruach HaKodesh, or a pana. And sometimes in that spit itself you can see the face of the deceased. It says Pnei Ames Daika. Why after the face of the deceased? Because it is the damage of the ponim, of the Pnei Ames, of the ponim of the mace. And with this spit causes shame to the Yavam. Where can you see that somebody's embarrassed in his face? He's blushing. Because he refused to recreate the name of his brother. So that's why he has to be ashamed in his face. This is what Kodesh Baruch Hu said to Moshe. When Miriam spoke she spoke Lashon Hara about Moshe, and she became a leper.
Yeah.
And Aaron asked Moshe Rabbeinu to daven for Moshe, to daven for Miriam. And Moshe requested, Rachamim, beseech the Kodesh Baruch Hu for Moshe. Kodesh Baruch Hu, so Kodesh Baruch Hu said, let it go out of the Machna for 7 days. And the Kodesh Baruch Hu gave Kivyochel Kal V'chomer. He says, what happens if a father spits in the face of his daughter? Whatever he shames her, she has to be ashamed for 7 days. I mean, Kibbutz Avim was somewhat different those days. So this is the same thing. Let Miriam be closed off for 7 days outside of the Machna. In other words, if her father would show her an angry face, she would be embarrassed for 7 days. So the same thing with the scolding of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Let her be segregated for 7 days. What's hinted with this is as follows. It says over here, Shivas Yomin. He called him, she will be embarrassed 7 days. Daiko. I know Pchina Shiva Anonim and all. This is the 7 clouds that we spoke about, which is the 7 candles. Shal Yodo Meir Pnei Menorah. This is the thing that brings about the illumination of the face of the menorah. In other words, through these 7 candles, the 7 days, the 7 clouds, the 7 Shivas Yemei Mishta, the Shevas Yemei Avelos, and all these things, Yozechet to Shefa Eloki that comes from Orapanim. And that's what you said, Yorak Yorak B'faneh, that he spit a spit before her face. it alludes to the fact that the spit that the widow spits before the face of the brother of the deceased that doesn't want to be beyond her. He refused to recreate a name, to resurrect a name for his brother, for the dead person. And Mimele refused to rectify the aspect of or upon him that has been diminished through his death. Okay, Yaakov Befonov, she spit in his face, this is a shame of the face, because he damaged upon him. As it says, she should be, you will she be embarrassed for 7 days. It alludes to the fact that by the spitting that she spits before him, he's embarrassed, which is evident in his face, because he himself damaged the aspect of face upon him that comes through the Shivas Yomim, the seven candles. This is what Chazal said, and this is the takana of Chazal said that Chazal said Hayevoma nichnas b'mama. That what happens is that Chazal didn't want just that Yom just to take his brother's widow and consummate the marriage with her. So Chazal said, let him do a maimer, let him do a kiddushin with money, and it's not a full kiddushin in the Oraisa. The Oraisa, the only thing that finishes a marriage, l'chol hadayas, it is dafka the consummation. But the Chazal Mesakin, there will be kiddushin, mederabonon. So what is alluded to the Maimah, a saying, zeu hebech havaishus, this is the opposite of shame. It says, kula oimer kovod, that the expression, the Mitzvah Kodesh Baruch Hu Kevyochel, speaks the honor of Hashem. The entire creation expresses the honor of Hashem. So expression, oimer, has to do with covet. When somebody's embarrassed, he keeps quiet. So the heavens scream the honor of Hashem. Every single prat of creation screams the honor of Hashem. So kula oimer covet. The Maimar is an aspect of covet. That when the Yavam does indeed complete the act of Yibum, of Yevom, he brings about the opposite of Boshas Ponim that he would have had unless he did it. Hefech shel tikol shivas yomim, the opposite of let her be embarrassed for 7 days. Miriam, shepogmo bichvod Moshe, that has damaged the covet of Moshe Rabbeinu. Shu b'chinas shefa eloki. Moshe Rabbeinu is the b'chinas shefa eloki. The B'chinas said about Moshe after he got the luchos, ki koran or panov, the skin of his face shone, it radiated. Why? Because he was to shefa eloki that comes from or upon him. He became to personalize the or upon him. That's why his face actually shone. Or upon him, it illuminated. And with this, she damaged the 7 candles that Moshe Rabbeinu acquired. Ki hu haya onov shofel v'savlan. Moshe Rabbeinu was humble. He was low, and he was patient, and he wasn't upset that he was humiliated and embarrassed. This is the in of nose b'shleimus, which is yira. Moshe Rabbeinu had total yira. You total yira, you total anova, total illumination, because yira and anova, as we said before, are intertwined, because ekev anova yiras Hashem. The lower bechina of anova is yiras Hashem. The anova is a greater madrega than yira. That's why the Torah was Mishabeach Moshe Rabbeinu in Dafka in the Midah of Anova. And it's also said about Moshe Likutei Moharan says Pe'el Pe'adabar Boy. mouth to mouth, I shall speak to him. That's B'chinas Peh. That's the candle of the mouth that Moshe Rabbeinu has achieved perfectly. That's why he spoke to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Uchsiv Bey, it is also written about Moshe Rabbeinu, Utmunas Hashem Yabit. You will see the image of Hashem Kaviyachol. That B'chinas Enayim. Means that the eyes, he rectified the eyes completely. He was able to mekadosh his eyes to such a degree that Kaviyachol, the eyes of his mind, could see, Kaviyachol, the image of Hashem. Uksiva bechol beisi ne'emanu. In all my house, he is faithful. He is believed. He has the keys to all the chambers of my house. Kodesh Baruch Hu said, how are you not afraid to talk about it? He is my trustee. He's trusted with everything. Zeh b'chinas udin. This is the ears that Moshe Rabbeinu guarded. And it is said, Ne'eman ruach mechasadover. Somebody who is faithful, he covers whatever it is he hears. He conceals whatever he hears. A faithful person, when you tell him a secret, he keeps it covered. He doesn't talk. Somebody, let's just bus pass. Somebody is a ne'eman. He covers what his ears hear. This is a perfection of the ears. Moshe Rabbeinu was a ne'eman, Raya Nehemna, or a ne'eman. He was zoicha to, as it said in the Zoich, Moshe Rabbeinu was zoicha to ne'emanis. So you see, Moshe Rabbeinu has achieved all the 7 candles perfectly. So when Miriam damaged, she lessened in the code of Moshe Rabbeinu. With this, essentially, she had lessened all the 7 candles. This is why she became a leper. What is a leper? The Zohar Kodesh says, it means that the supernal light is blacked off, is cut off. It's a person, from him, the supernal light that comes from above is shut off. What is the supernal light that we're talking about? Or upon him. It's or upon him is being closed from a person. That's why he becomes a leper. That's why Miriam got leprosy, when she damaged that aspect of or upon him. The Sivva, it is written about her, Tisoger michutz lamachne, let her be closed outside of the machne shivas yomim for 7 days, in order to rectify the b'chinas of ne'er that she has damaged. And this is what it says, and her father would spit in her face. If her father would spit a spit in her face, wouldn't she be embarrassed for 7 days? The spit alludes to the brother of the deceased that doesn't want to be miyabam his brother's widow, that damages the or upon him, which comes through the 7 days, the 7 candles. Same way, Miriam, when she damaged the or upon him, let her be closed out of the machna for 7 days in order to rectify that 7 days that she damaged. Ad kan, good Torah for today.